Hi, my name is Claire Hansen, and I'm going to talk about a New York Times article that I read called The Psych Approach. And it discusses basically the dangers of childhood stress and talks about how trauma and children that are not having their basic needs met have really unfortunate consequences later in their lives, and how important it is for us to really be aware of that and also try to combat that kind of um, thing happening in schools, not just in the home, because we do have a lot of power over what happens to children and their experience in the world when they're at school. Basically, the article talks about a couple different studies that were done that discuss the difference in adults long term having things like alcohol abuse issues, addiction problems, suicide rates, and they're all very closely linked to how much childhood stress they're experiencing, and more so than intelligence or IQ are indicative of a child's success and happiness. They're finding that three things are a much better indicator, a mixture of three things: motivation, resilience, and self-control. And somehow the mixture of those three things is something that's been researched a lot, and that is what seems to be indicative of a successful, happy, well-rounded adult. So I think one of the main things that I learned from this article was, that we need to take a more well-rounded approach in educating our future generations. And I think I'm most interested in the fact that if I were to research this more, I want to see what would be happening in other countries, because myself personally, I'm going backpacking in Guatemala for 10 days next month, and Guatemala is listed as one of the happiest countries in the world year after year. Its people are noted as one of the happiest, and yet they have a lot of the issues that this article discusses in children, such as economic disparities, nutrition, food not being met, food issues not being met, and yet they still have really happy people. I mean, I don't know if that's a different measure of success, but I would be really curious to see how people whose basic needs aren't necessarily being met on a grand level are still ending up as happy, well-rounded individuals.